First of all, we recognize that we can't have oneness with the external world if we are in battle with our internal world. So most of the spiritual practices and teachings really encourage us to get to know our inner world very deeply, more and more deeply, and to make peace with our inner world. And so in the centering that I did today, I took you through various territories, you could say, of your inner world. And we started with something very simple, like the breath, because it's always happening, it's always available. The sensations are relatively obvious, right? But the key there was not just that we were paying attention to the breath, but that we were allowing it to be exactly the way that it is. So that practice of allowing things to be the way that they are is the way to oneness. But we start with something very simple. We don't start with allowing somebody that's a real struggle in our life, some relationship that's a real struggle in our life. We don't start with that person, allowing that person to be exactly as they are. That would be challenging. We start, you can if you're drawn to that, but starting with the breath, it's just, it's kind of, we're easing our way into noticing that there's something here that can just sit back and let the breath be and do what it's doing. And we get to notice that when we just take our hands off the steering wheel of the breath, that actually it shifts and changes and reveals itself all on its own. That it actually doesn't need us. Obviously it doesn't, because how many times a day do we breathe? But have we ever noticed that the changes that happen from one breath to the next when we're simply just watching? So we may notice, oh, my breath is tight, and then we may want to do things to loosen it up, right? We'll do breath work and all of these things, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I do believe that breath work, without at least some time letting the breath be free, don't try to control something without actually coming into relationship with it to find out what it's capable of on its own, right? And so this is really kind of a starting point where we're exploring this principle as it relates to the breath, but as we'll see, it relates to everything. Don't try to control your emotions before you really know them, before you can really create some intimacy and a sense of listening. Don't try to control your body even. If you have a symptom, I highly recommend that you really meditate on that symptom and let it reveal to you what it wants before you impose external things on it. There's so much intelligence here, but we need to learn to listen. And those of us who are sensitive do have that capacity. And I think that you'll find it comes online pretty quickly when you give it the opportunity to speak.